Daddy. If you like what you see, comment and subscribe.
Sipping on a 40. Yo, I know it's been a minute, huh? Homie, I'm back. Yeah, I said, homie, I'm back.
Microphone check, 1 2 1 2. Check. Volumes look good. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 37 of the Mr. Dad podcast. Excuse me. There's been a lot of reflection going on lately with life and things like that. And my homeboy always says yo, you gotta reflect. You gotta make sure that you make decisions, and then off those decisions, if they were wrong or later on you felt like they were wrong, you gotta reflect and be accountable. And so that brings me to this episode, which is Overcompensate. As I'm reflecting, I started to realize that I overcompensate a lot when it comes to my children. One of the things that I do is I've always been the type of person that says, I want the kids to always have what I never had before. Like whatever I didn't have, they need to have that. So I find myself overcompensating. Like, for example, I think the first time I ever went to an amusement park, I was probably 12.
Hi, Daddy.
Right? And I remember my mom sent me off with my friends, their dad and mom. And I went to Disneyland. They were still playing the Michael Jackson, Lost in Space thing, where he was in space. There was Muppets. There was 3D show. Things was coming at you. It was great. And I remember I said, man, those are things that I'll probably never, ever, experience again. And when my daughter came around, the first thing I did, she was like 3 or 4, took her to Disneyland. My son gets born, I go get passes. We have maybe 2-3 years of just going to Disneyland. We've been to Knott's, we've been to Six Flags, they've been to just different places. The San Diego Zoo Safari, things that I never as a kid would have done. And as I reflect on it, I'm like, damn, do they really need that, or am I setting them up for failure later? Because I don't know. I know what the implications were with me growing up and not having all those things, is me wanting them to do it with my kids. But what if they just were oh, it's just another day in the park? For example, I went to Knott's for my son's birthday this year. And we're at Knott's, and he didn't really care. He was like, this ain't Disneyland, Daddy. And I understand from a kid's perspective of what Disneyland actually means to them, because Disneyland is like a show, always. It's you're walking through the park and there's characters and there's a parade and there's everything that's going on. And then Knott's is just like an amusement park where you go and you get on rides. He's not that big, so he can't get on too many rides. We were running over a bridge over and over and over again, and that's just what he wanted to do. And it just dawned on me, maybe I'm showing them too much too early. I'm overly doing it because it's something that I never had. And that's one of the things that I hear a lot of people say as parents. I just want to give my kids stuff that I never had. And what ends up happening is we go broke. There's a reason why Mom wasn't taking all 4 of us to Disneyland, because that shit was expensive as fuck. And there was a reason why you didn't do X, Y, and Z and things. And sometimes you just have to tell your kids, you don't have to do something every single weekend or every single day. Sometimes just sit down. You'll be all right. Also, one of the things, I think when I was growing up, I think my mom introduced me into sports around maybe 14. And I do kind of wish that I was able to find sports earlier in life. One thing is I probably would have found out this heart issue that I have here. I probably would have found something out about that a little earlier, but when I got into high school, I'd already did the whole Pop Warner football thing. I played a few basketball things, but that was with homeboys that like was like, hey, we should do this. Like, come and uh, try this or whatever. And then there was another thing like when I started running track, is when you start getting like a, a sense of like friendship and like togetherness, and you guys are all on the same team, going for the glory. And now, like, as me being a sports coordinator, I see like how it brings everyone together. How like if you do X, Y, and Z, how it just builds a bond and friendships and teaches you integrity and accountability because you have teammates that are going to tell you when you did wrong. You're going to have coaches that's going to tell you when you did wrong. And you're not just going to always feel like you're just right. So, I threw my daughter in a cheer and now I'm trying to get her into track or something. And then my son, I'm going to put him in basketball pretty soon. And I just want them to get that early. And that's my reflection on my life. I don't know what's the outcome for them, but I hear when you go into sports earlier, like kind of just builds like this integrity in you. And I'm really big on integrity. I'm really big on this respect. I'm really big on accountability. So it might be great. I don't know. Um, it's a lot of unknown, uncharted waters when it comes to parenting because your experience is only as old as your child. So I don't know, but I do know that sports is always good. So whatever. Another thing that I feel like I overcompensate on is caring. I overly care sometimes. Like, and with me doing that, it's made my daughter really, really like a real sensitive person. Like, she'll start crying and I'll start coddling and like she'll like if someone yells at her the wrong way, she'll start to break down and I'll find myself overly caring and then in that same breath like taking a deep breath and being like, oh, relax. It's not that deep. And the reason why I do that is because like I find as we overcompensate as parents, the softer the kid becomes. Like my son knows like from jump when he came out I was hard on him. And maybe it's a gender bias on my hand because I feel like boys should still be tough and girls should be able to be as sensitive as possible or as they want to be. Like I still let my son know that hey, you can still cry, you can still do things, but you need to be tough. And so like my daughter cries a lot and stuff like that. My son just kind of like punches things, and it's by far the funniest thing. And there's so much, they're on such different sides of the spectrum. Like my son's like a young me, where he's like, "Look, Dad, look what I can do," and he'll like show a kick, or like he'll do a flip and like kick a door. He'll like slam a kid, like. And my daughter's like, "Oh, don't touch me, don't yell at me," But she has an angry side too. A lot of people don't see it. Like she does this thing where she bites her lower lip, and her mom says she gets it from me because when her mom and I were together, I was the angry, aggressive guy, and she said, yeah, she does that stupid thing where she like looks at you, then she bites her lips, she gets mad, and she just like starts attacking you, and I just don't like people to like try to push her to that because my daughter is a very sensitive creature. My son is like the most aggressive little boy. He's like all boy. He's like headbutt, punch, kick. Like he doesn't stop coming at you. Like I'll pick him up and slam him, he'll come right back. And my daughter's like the sensitive thing, so I find myself like over caring sometimes, but then I have to snap out of it because although like I feel like when I was young, I didn't really get hugged and coddled and things like that. Like I think I started the "I love you" trait, and it all started when I was dating this chick, and her and her mom used to tell each other they love them all the time, and it was like, yeah, you should do that. Like if you're not out here, if you're not telling the person that you love in life that you love them, then what's the point? So start telling my sisters and my brother and my mom that I love you. And it makes a world of difference. Like it just, shows that you care, and it gives you a sense. Like I I didn't think that my mom didn't care when we were growing up. I just think that she was trying to harden me because she knew what the world I was like going to walk into later. She knew that world. So she was like, you're not going to it soft. So like, I don't think I heard I love you. I don't think we did that as young. I have to check with my older sister, but I don't think we did that when we were younger. I don't think love was expressed in that way. And you can go out and search for that stuff, but like it should start at home. So, I do like overly care sometimes, but then I got to snap back out of it because I do want them to be like tough to deal with life's harsh realities. Also, I find myself dressing up with my kids. Halloween for me as a kid, I was always with like a friend or something like that, and we would go trick or treating. My mom was always busy. She had 4 kids. She had shit to do. She wasn't about to be out here trick or treating with us when she had to feed us. So I never hold that against her, but I do wish that she was there. So what I do now, and I wish my dad was there. He wasn't there, but so now what I do now is I dress up with the kids. Last year I didn't do it, or the year before last, I think, or something like that. But there's been a few years where I've dressed up with the kids and taking them trick or treating, taking that time out of my day to just go out and do what I have to do with them, and show them that like hey, dad is here to support you in every aspect of life. So I dress up. Like Halloween is coming, and we getting our outfits ready now. The Johnson family will be out there in full gear. I'm not gonna tell you guys where we're gonna be. Secret. Show you guys pictures or something like that. I don't know. But we'll be out there. And then lastly, I want to talk about the technology advances with like raising kids. When I was growing up, there were things called commercials. And if you're younger than 20, then you probably wouldn't understand this life. There was a thing called commercials, and we would multitask doing those commercials. So if we were doing homework after school, we would be watching TV. But when a commercial came on, you could start focusing on your homework. See, commercials give you time to do certain things. And now with Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime, you don't get a break. So you just kind of watch shows through. So you don't learn how to like the art of multitasking. Like you can't watch TV now and do homework. I have yet to see my kid do it. Like Zaya does it, and it's weird, but it's usually when she's watching some type of like makeup tutorial. She's like laying there watching a makeup tutorial. She doesn't put on makeup, but she watches it, whatever. And and I just like I sit there and I'm like, okay, like she's multitasking, but most of the time they can't. Like they just get stuck, and they have to like either pause it. They don't want to miss anything. It's like when you were a kid, like when we were babies, we wouldn't want to go to sleep because we didn't want to miss nothing. Like nap time was forbidden for us because like, I'm not going to doing that because then how am I going to see what's going on? And I feel like that's what's happening now with technology and what's happening with like kids. So for a long time, I wouldn't let Zaya use her phone during the week. Like weekends is your time for phone. Same thing with my son. Like son, your tablet. Like I take his tablet away because he started like wilding out at school and like acting like the kids on that you see on the videos, and like the little small kids that like their mom and dad run around and videotape them doing things, and my son started to mimic those things. So I had to like reduce screen time, which for me is an overcompensation because when I was younger, I had mad screen time, and my studies fucking failed because of it. Like I wasn't that great at school, and I think that I just didn't have the focus because when I went to college I excelled. So like I just try to keep the focus there. So now I have to like again reflect, understand that hey, you're right, kid. You should be able to do what you're doing right now. So that's that. Adapting technology as a parent is crazy, and we have to every day pick and choose like what we're going to allow our kids to do with these electronics, and what we're going to allow them to do with like their everyday struggles, and how they're going to adapt to technology. And hey, is this really good for my kid? Because studies show this, or social media does that, and things like that. And I don't allow them to be on social media, but I do understand that screen time and technology is really a big issue. And it wasn't, I guess, for me as much, because my technology was at the house. I wasn't walking around with it every day. And that's something that I have to adapt to, but I just overcompensate now. It's like I just try to take away as much technology as possible, because I felt like that's what would have been best for me when I was growing up, because I was horrible. Like, I'm going home and I'm playing this PlayStation, bump everything else that has to go on, homework, all that stuff. If I would have had YouTube, I wouldn't know what to do. I got mad screen time, Mom. Yeah, I'm asleep. I remember I used to, like, on the dial-up, like, be on there, and that's how my mom used to catch me on the internet. Y'all on the goddamn internet? I said, no. Why can't I use the phone? Oh, shit. My bad. But anyways, thanks for listening to me and watching this 37th episode. And I'm going to get out of here and raise these kids.